Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This week, we had a really unique set of sources to work with.
Yeah, this wasn't the usual stack of white papers, that's for sure.
Not at all. We were digging into the end-of-year recap from a popular local radio show, so it was super conversational, sometimes a little goofy even.
But it's a perfect snapshot. It gives you this great mix of, major news, this really intense local finance drama, and then their own personal reflections on the year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the sources, it's dense. It's full of inside jokes and stories.
Right. So our mission today is to kind of cut through all that noise. We're pulling out the really high-value insights for you, the actionable stuff.
We're focusing on the financial shockwaves that, they really rocked a major U.S. city this year.
And the macro trends that defined 2025.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the thing that hits you right away, the thing that sets the whole tone for their entire recap, is this Kansas City Chiefs stadium controversy.
Oh, yeah.
They literally started their show by playing the song Backstabber. You can just feel that sense of local betrayal right from the jump.
And when you dig into the numbers they uncovered, you get why that feeling is so deep. It's profound. The Chiefs' decision to move from Missouri to Kansas, it involves a financial package that is just, it's genuinely unheard of.
How so?
The deal locked in $1.8 billion in public funding from Kansas.
$1.8 billion, that's a massive number by itself, but what makes that so critical here?
It's the context. The sources stress this over and over. This is the largest public subsidy ever granted for a stadium.
Ever in U.S. history.
In U.S. history. And who gets this historic public giveaway? The Hunt family.
Who are what, the 12th richest family in America?
That's the one. So right away you have this dynamic of, socializing the costs while completely privatizing the profits.
And the way they funded this thing called star bonds, it sounds like some kind of financial magic trick. Can you walk us through how they pulled that off?
Absolutely. Star bonds are, they're essentially a debt instrument. So 60% of the entire stadium's funding is secured with them.
Okay.
And to guarantee that massive debt, Kansas is pledging 65% of the state's sports revenue.
Wait, you mean like lottery and betting money?
Exactly. Lottery, betting, all of it. Plus another 10% from that fund, which starts at $17 million a year just for stadium maintenance.
So the governor's out there saying, no new taxes, but the sources are basically saying that's a total shell game.
That's a complete shell game.
You're not paying a new tax.
Right.
But your existing tax dollars are getting hijacked.
That is the core insight. The Star Bond District, it isn't some tiny piece of land. It covers 300 square miles across multiple counties.
Wow.
So sales taxes in that huge area, the money that's supposed to fund schools, fire departments, roads, all of that is now being redirected to pay off these stadium bonds.
So no new taxes, but essential services are losing funding to pay for the Chiefs.
Precisely. And on top of all that, the entire development is fully exempt from property taxes. Forever. That's millions in lost revenue every single year.
And the actual cost, it's way, way higher than that initial amount.
Oh, yeah. The source material, they quote a professor who ran the numbers on the full 30-year life of the deal.
Yeah.
It's not $1.8 billion. It's going to balloon to $6.3 billion.
6.3. That's the real cost that taxpayers in Kansas are on the hook for.
Yep. Mostly through lost revenue and bond interest.
Okay, here is the detail that it blows my mind. The state of Kansas will actually own the stadium.
That's right. They own the building.
But the Chiefs still pay rent. So tell us about this bizarre rent situation.
It is the definition of a closed financial loop. The Chiefs will pay $7 million in annual rent.
Okay, so that money goes back to the state to help pay down the $6 billion.
Nope. That rent money goes directly into a fund that is controlled by the Chiefs.
Wait. So they pay the state $7 million, but that money just circles right back into a bank account they control to pay for things they need.
You got it. They are essentially paying themselves to run and maintain a building the public owns.
Unbelievable.
And the revenue split just makes it crystal clear. The Hunt family gets 100% of all stadium revenue. Tickets, concessions, parking, naming rights, everything.
And the state of Kansas gets what?
$0 in revenue. Their compensation for the stadium and the $6.3 billion backing. The state receives, and I quote, one complimentary suite.
That one complimentary suite. It just hammers home the imbalance, doesn't it?
It really does. It's just a perfect example of prioritizing a private company's gain over any kind of public financial sense.
And economists agree on this stuff, right?
Almost universally. They agree that stadiums built with this kind of public money are a net financial loss for taxpayers. And you see the shift immediately. The new stadium will actually have 10,000 fewer seats
Why would they do that?
to make room for more luxury suites. It's explicitly catering to a richer clientele.
And what about the regular fans? The season ticket holders who were there for years?
Well, they're now facing a $10,000 personal seat license, a PSL.
So that's just a fee for the right to then buy tickets.
It's a mandatory fee. It's basically a massive price hike for your most loyal fans right out of the gate.
So you've got this huge sense of local financial betrayal, and it's all grounded in these just staggering numbers. And that, I guess, that leads right into the cultural part of their discussion.
Yeah, it does.
One of the radio hosts, his job is actually in the Chiefs' old area, and he was reporting what the local sports media were saying.
And what was that?
That the Chiefs' final proposal to stay in Missouri looked hastily thrown together, something you would do the night before a project's due.
So it felt like they were never serious about staying.
Exactly. Like they were just checking a box before they left.
Yeah.
It's incredible that this huge local issue then transitions into talk about global cultural shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, if the public is losing billions at home, where were people putting their attention in 2025?
Well, that's where the source gave us this brilliant pop culture snapshot. And a huge takeaway is the continuing and very rapid death of traditional media.
Oh, so?
Think about the biggest celebrity news of the year, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement. That didn't break on a major TV network or in a magazine.
It broke on the New Heights podcaster.
Exactly, on platforms like that. And that model, the podcast model, is just inherently more valuable to people now.
Why is that? What's the shift?
It's direct. It's perceived as more authentic. When news is packaged by a traditional outlet, there's always this sense of spin, of curation. But when it comes from the source itself, even a curated source like a celebrity podcast, the audience feels like they're getting the real story.
So the big media companies are just playing catch up.
They're just reporting on what influencer media has already broken.
And it seems we all still craved a spectacle at the box office. Big franchise hits were everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Wicked, the movie version, was huge. Superman, Zootopia 2, K-pop Demon Hunters.
But the most telling thing was that the #1 international film wasn't from Hollywood.
No, it was from China, which signals this huge shift in global cinematic power.
And on TV, the social commentary was still sharp. Everyone was talking about HBO's The White Lotus.
Season 3, set in Thailand. It was just praised for its dark humor, this really smart satire of Western privilege and wealth.
Which, ironically, kind of ties back to the whole Chiefs controversy, right? The public is fascinated by how the super rich behave.
Absolutely. And that intersection of live events and social media just created these instant global scandals.
Like the viral Coldplay kiss cam moment.
Exactly. It catches a CEO cheating on his partner, and instantly that personal moment is digitized and seen by millions around the world. There's just no hiding anymore.
Speaking of digital life, the temporary U.S. ban on TikTok in 2025.
Yeah.
That caused a genuine uproar.
It really did. It sparked these huge debates about digital freedom versus national security. That platform has so much cultural influence, especially with younger people, that any move to restrict it becomes an instant political firestorm.
Okay, let's pivot from that global stage back to the personal. The hosts had some really great reflections on lifestyle and goals.
Yeah, they did.
You know, they even gave us this fun aha moment about the experience economy when they talked about trying Korean barbecue hot pot.
Yes, that was a great little detail. All you can eat for $35. You build your own soup base like miso or spicy Sichuan.
And a huge sauce bar.
Right, and it just highlights this consumer shift. People want high-touch, customizable, interactive experiences, not just, basic consumption.
But the really sobering moment, the one that probably hit every listener pretty hard, was that mindfulness statistic they shared.
I remember this. It was about parents and their kids.
Yeah. A parent living an average lifespan will spend, on average, only 365 days with their kids after they graduate high school.
1 year, that's it. That is wild, right? It just puts this incredible immediate pressure on being present, on being engaged. It forces you to rethink how you spend your time.
And when they look back at their 2025 goals, they actually had these small, consistent wins. Host A found creative work through curriculum development.
Which shows that even a vague goal can work out if you set the right foundation.
Right. And host B, he stuck with dry January and cut back on random social drinking.
Which is all about setting boundaries and making specific changes. And host C just maintained his pool and wore his cologne.
Hey, success is success. It's often just about doing those consistent, manageable things.
That's true. And that consistency leads right into their new resolutions for 2026, which were all about stacking habits.
Host A wants to tackle physical and mental health. He's going to get up earlier to work out and meditate before starting work.
So he's shifting the priority. He's putting himself first at the start of the day, not at the end.
And host B, his goal actually mirrors the whole lesson from the stadium deal. He wants to be a little bit healthier, but his big goal is to say no more.
What does that mean for him?
He wants to stop taking on tasks that are urgent but not important. Basically, stop doing things for other people that don't help him.
So he's protecting his own personal revenue, his time. Stop giving it away for free.
Exactly. And host C set a really physical goal to clear out the clutter in his home studio. He sees it as a first step to clearing out the mental clutter.
That makes sense. A tangible, measurable goal.
Okay, let's circle back to the macro financial world with their end-of-year political news quiz. The question about the U.S. national debt was, it was really eye-opening.
It provided some massive context. The answer confirmed that the Trump administration's new budget bill would add $4.1 trillion in new debt over 10 years.
$4.1 trillion on top of the $36 trillion we already owe. You know, when you hear a number that big, it almost makes the $6.3 billion for the Chiefs Stadium seem small.
Yeah.
But the underlying idea is hauntingly similar, isn't it?
It is. Both the star bonds for the stadium and the national debt, they reflect the same pattern. A heavy reliance on bond debt and these huge allocations of future money.
All to get some kind of immediate politically popular gain while ignoring the long-term stability.
Exactly. The scale is different, but the financial philosophy borrows from the future. It's identical.
And the political fallout they discussed was serious. Owing so much of that debt to China, Canada convincing other countries to stop buying U.S. bonds.
Which lowers their value. Yeah, it speaks to a global status problem that's tied directly to how reliable our debt is.
And that chaos, it seemed to spill over into foreign policy ideas.
Well, the source material highlighted some interesting proposals. Trump wanting to annex Greenland, make Canada the 51st state, take the Panama Canal by force.
I mean, those kinds of things, they just suggest a real confusion about how the world works in 2025.
And the consequences of these big policy shifts were made devastatingly clear. A Boston University study found the dismantling of U.S. aid by Elon Musk's Doge team.
Yeah.
It resulted in 600,000 deaths. 2/3 of them were children. That's the real heavy impact of these top-level decisions.
And to round out the year, there was that detail about Trump accepting a $400 million jumbo jet from Qatar.
Right, saying only a stupid person would have turned it down. Destined only for his use and then his presidential museum.
That personal story, right next to the massive debt figures, it just completes this picture of year defined by, I mean, just astounding financial decisions. We've definitely covered a lot, from local betrayal to global debt and personal goals.
And if there's one aha moment to synthesize, it's that the whole year was defined by these incredible financial choices, whether it's $6.3 billion in local public money being rerouted to a billionaire family,
or $4.1 trillion being added to the national debt.
Both extremes show this pattern. Large-scale, controversial public spending of future money that really only benefits a tiny group of people.
And to bring it all back to that one specific absurd detail, the state of Kansas owns the Chiefs Stadium. The billionaire owners get 100% of the revenue, and the state is left with just one complimentary suite.
So as you think about your own 2026 resolutions, clearing out clutter, being more present, whatever it is, consider this question. It connects the big political picture to your personal life. Are there areas in your own life, your time, your money, your energy, where you are acting as the public owner, but you're only getting one complimentary suite while someone else is taking 100% of the revenue?
Maybe it's time to adopt Host B's strategy and just start saying no.